Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Thank you so much for being a time traveler. Let's hop into your full moon in Gemini reading. What does Leo need to know for this full moon in Gemini? What is the message for Leo at this time? For Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Keep in mind it's a collective general reading. It is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. Just means it's meant for someone else watching. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't, and be sure to check out your other placements. What is the message for Leo? Thank you. Your message, karmic path. Card number 8. Bottom of the deck, you have Earth. Card number 11. Okay, let's get a Moonology card here for Leo. Why is their message karmic path and Earth? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your Moonology card, work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. And at the bottom of the deck, you have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. Okay. Tell me more about this here for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What do they need to know about karmic path, Earth, work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio, and the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn? Well, we actually have a new moon in Capricorn on January 18th. Tell me more about this here. The full moon that's taking place in Capricorn will actually be in Cancer, and that's on January 3rd. So this may be something that is developing for you over the course of the next month or the next month and a half. One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have the Four of Wands. You have the Knight of Wands. You have the Lovers. And you have the Nine of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, Hermit, King of Swords, and King of Wands. That leaves the Four of Pentacles, the Star, and the Moon. So the cycle of the Moon now will be important or critical in respect to a decision here that you're making. Tell me about the Four of Wands. Some of you are making this decision, the Lovers being the ultimate choice card in Tarot. You're making a decision in the energy of the full moon in Gemini up until that new moon in Capricorn on January 18th. And the decision you make to move forward in regards to something here in your life will actually change you. And not just change you, change your life's direction or change your life's path. Now, you don't have to make this decision or you don't have to go in this direction. I often say life, the universe, if you will, gives us exit ramps, right? Where we can get off the highway of life and take another avenue or explore something else. We don't have to take every exit. I feel like this would be an exit. Like if you made this choice, it would change the trajectory of your life. So instead of, let's say you're going north, you take the exit, and suddenly now you're going east, and there's something entirely new here for you to learn, and new lessons, and new people, and new situations. So tell me about that Four of Wands. Tell me about the Four of Wands here for Leo, this new timeline. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Four of Wands is clarified by the Page of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Here's the new. Leaving behind something, leaving behind the current path with some remorse or regret, but also there's an excitement here about moving on to the new path. So making this decision means you're changing an aspect of yourself or an aspect of your life, but you see it as something that would be creative or challenging, but in a good way. Creative, exciting. Tell me about the choice here. Tell me about the Lover's card here for Leo. So if you were to move in this direction, in the direction of this Ace of Wands, this new opportunity, whether it's one being given to you or one that you're creating for yourself, will be different for all of you. But I feel like there's a lot to learn, or there will be a lot to learn on this new path. Tell me more about the choice. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The choice. The Devil, Death, and the Queen of Pentacles. Wow. Bottom of the deck, the Star card. So leaving behind a path that maybe particularly didn't suit you all that well. We have Scorpionic energy here. Work through your fears, right? New moon in Scorpio. And then you have the Devil card, which we're just saying your Moonology card here is full moon in Capricorn. So there's a decision here that if you were to make it, would one, be an act of self-love, would be an act of you investing in yourself and nurturing yourself, but also would be an investment in your future. So if you were to move in this direction and make this choice, your life would benefit from this greatly. Whatever this choice is for you, it seems you're plagued with the Nine of Swords prior to making it. I'll try to find out a little bit more for you about this, but the Hermit to the King of Swords, some of you could be deciding to go back to school or to learn something new. Now, it could be actually like going to school and taking courses, taking classes, taking them online, learning a new skill or a new trade or some new hobby that you feel has the potential to increase your financial abundance in the future. So taking the time to do this, investing the time to learn whatever this new thing is, would put you on an entirely new path and would ground you financially in the future if you were to make this decision. Nine of Swords. Tell me about the Nine of Swords. And this could even be like you deciding, I feel like this is more about learning. Knight of Swords. Tell me more about that Nine of Swords first. One more shuffle. Knight of Swords, Three of Cups, and the Hanged Man. Bottom of the deck, Two of Wands. So between now and the new moon in Capricorn taking place on January 18th, you will have the opportunity to learn something new. Now, this opportunity could come by way of you're scrolling online and you're seeing some videos and you get this idea of like, well, I could do that, or I've always wanted to do that, or I've always wanted to learn that. For others of you, this could be something that actually arrives in the mail. And, you know, one of those things where they just mail out to like every resident type of thing, but it might catch your eye. It might be for classes. It might be to take some courses. And there seems to be a pause here when the communication is received or the information is received. For others of you, this is just like a thought or idea you have. I'm going to get comfortable here because I think we're going to go a little deep on this message. So for some of you, this is like a thought or idea, like you're in the shower or you're washing dishes, or again, you're watching TV and there's some commercial and it dawns on you, I always wanted to do that, or I always wanted to learn that, or I started learning that and I gave up on it. I'd like to go back and see if I can learn it a different way or learn something new. And so when you're at this why point, you seem to be wondering, would this be the best decision for me? Could I be truly happy with that? In that Three of Cup energy. But then it's also, would this add to my long-term financial stability or my long-term emotional stability, right? Earth, would it ground me? Would it ground me? Tell me about the Hermit to the King of Swords to the King of Wands. I feel for some of you, this is like some type of learning some new skill or learning to do something a new way, a different way, starting your own business, moving forward on this idea. And look, if it's none of those things, if it's not going back to school or taking courses or, you know, learning tarot or learning an instrument, something that you see would be beneficial to your financial success, if it's not that, I could be speaking to a Leo where you already have a business and this is a new creative idea that crosses your path. Again, something you're seeing or you're hearing about, or it just comes to you in a download, meaning you're randomly doing something and it comes in, you know, you start thinking about it, it comes into your mind. This might be something where you're like, you know what, I think that if I changed my business model or if I did it differently, or I maybe add an additional service or product, this could potentially create a lot of financial stability for me in the future. And if it's nothing like that, where you're a business owner or it's learning something new or going back to school, then this could be something like, do I actually want to put myself out there and meet a long-term partner? I could be speaking to a Leo where you're single. And there's this, you know, crossroads here, emotional crossroads that you're experiencing between now and that new moon in Capricorn on January 18th, where it's like, maybe it's time for me to get out there. I'm feeling the spark. I'm feeling the passion. I'm ready to meet someone, but there could be a little apprehension, right, in doing that. I don't want to get burned like I got burned the last time. I don't want to end up in a karmic relationship like possibly I did last time. So whether this is in regards to career and finance, love and romance, or some type of higher education, it looks like you will be at a Y point and needing to make a decision if you want to move through with this inspiring idea here that you have. Hermit to the King of Swords to the King of Wands. I feel like after a lot of introspection, you're making this decision from a point of having absolute clarity that, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to learn that, or I want to go back to school, or I do want to launch this business, or I do want, I do want to expand the business I have or modify it in some way. Or yes, I'm ready to get out there and find a partner that I could really like spend the rest of my life with and build with or rebuild life with. So the feeling I get here is that provided you can work through your fears, which I have no doubt you'll be able to do because we have death to the devil card. And so if that devil card is representing doubts, fears, or insecurities that may be holding you back, I think with the death card, you're putting an end to it and you will be investing as the Queen of Pentacles, some real tangible pentacle resource into this, whether that's time, love, money, devotion, etc. For others of you, this could be in regards to like a pretty significant home renovation project that you want to do, like updating your home. But I don't just mean like buying a couple storage cubbies and stuff. This would be like moving furniture out of the room and like painting it, you know what I mean? And more of like a DIY kind of hands-on do-it-yourself approach. So for some of you, it could be that because maybe you just want to reground your space and reorganize your space. And maybe you have some fears with that. You've never done that before. You've never tackled these types of projects before. But then the feeling, the inspiration comes and goes, you know what? I can learn that. I can watch some, do-it-yourself videos. And I can learn about this and I can plan it and then execute that. So you're going to have to interpret that Ace of Wands however you want. Like I said, career and finance, love and romance, a passion project, something you've been wanting to do, but you kind of put on the back burner, or something you've been doing and you sort of want to reinvent the way you're doing it. I think after some soul searching, you're going to actually do it. Tell me about that Hermit to the King of Swords to the King of Wands here. One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the Page of Cups, you have the Ten of Pentacles, and you have the Two of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Swords. All four queens are forged through fire of their respective suits. And so whether you're masculine or feminine, the Queen of Pentacles is a queen who's looking at her pentacle resources, her time, her love, her money, etc. And she's looking at that full suit of cards behind her, starting with the Ace of Pentacles, all the way up to the Knight of Pentacles. And she's looking at all the ups and downs and all of the losses and all of the investments she made, time, love, money, in different situations, environments, or connections. And because she has been burned in the past, and she has also had some triumphs and victories because of all of that knowledge, the successes as well as the failures, now in the present as the Queen of Pentacles, she knows how to show up. She knows what she should and should not invest in. She's very protective of that pentacle. More often than not, the Queen of Pentacles is seen holding that pentacle resource close to her chest or looking at it and admiring it, but still clutching it with her hands. Most decks show the Queen of Pentacles that way, and it's because she really does value her time or her love or her money, etc., because of what she's gone through. The Queen of Swords is no different. The Queen of Swords oversees the entire suit of the sword suit, all of those cards. The Three of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Eight, the Nine, the 10. Not the most pleasant cards, right, in the entire 78 card deck of tarot. So she's a little bit harder of a queen. She's very decisive when she makes a decision. So here we have you in queen energy, again, whether you're masculine or feminine, saying, based upon everything that I've done in the past, all the Two of Swords decisions that I had to make, and all the heartbreak or trauma that came from that, and all the times I invested correctly as well as incorrectly, now I get to use that knowledge and make a decision that's a bit different than what I would have probably made in the past. So as the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacle energy here, you are deciding to move forward towards this Ace of Wands, taking like I said, all of the lessons of the past and feeling very confident to now move forward in that King of Swords. Because if the queens are existing in the present because of their past, the kings, and I'm not making it hierarchical or anything about masculine versus feminine, just if we look at the sword suit, if the queens have all the knowledge, then the kings need that knowledge in order to now initiate the future, to take action towards the future. And so we have the Queen of Swords here, backed by the Queen of Pentacles, saying, I'm very clear-minded and I know what I'm going to do now, and I know how I'm going to invest that time, love, money. And then you have the King of Swords say, now I'm ready to make that decision. And the King of Wands is you. So I feel like this decision you are making with great clarity, and you're starting off small. So maybe for some of you, this is returning, like going back to school, or maybe even going to school for the first time. Again, to learn some new skill or new trade, or to expand your educational knowledge in some way. For others of you, like I said, you're starting small to learn something new. You're learning tarot, but it's still a skill. And even if you wanted to call it a hobby for now, it's still something you can envision you can envision it creating financial abundance for yourself in the future. That's why you're initiating this Ace of Wands. That's why you're deciding to move forward. It's not like you're just, learning how to do something for fun. It's creative, but it also has long-term possibilities, or the long-term consequence of making you extraordinarily wealthy. And the same holds true if you're a business owner. This is, I'm going to now do my business differently. I'm modifying it. And maybe you're modifying your schedule, or you're modifying the types of, like I said, services or products that you're offering the public. But again, it's based on those past successes or failures of the business that you're now deciding to do things differently. And so this is a huge decision. It's not just an Ace of Wands. It has incredible potential to lead to financial success. And it does change the trajectory of your life. The only thing that would hold you back, Leo, from making this decision, going back to school or learning this new skill or launching this business or revamping the business or even putting yourself out there to meet a love partner, the only thing that would hold you back are any fears or doubts. And those fears or doubts come from the lessons of the past. And so whatever it was here that you've gone through, you're lacking a little bit of confidence. And I think if you can restore or regain your confidence, you will decide to move towards that Ace of Wands. And you're absolutely right. If you're intuitively feeling that this will create financial abundance for you in the future, it absolutely will. But it will require you, like I said, to learn something new or to do something differently, or to be vulnerable. If we're, talking about love, to be vulnerable and to just engage in dating differently. Maybe in the past, all you did was online dating with Page of Swords. This might now require you to actually get out there into the 3D world, into the pentacle world, to meet people. Or maybe you've historically have met people in the 3D world, and this is saying, do it a different way. Maybe do online dating, or do a combination of the two. Or maybe even join a community group. And there you will meet like-minded people. You will meet new soulmates, because you're all participating and volunteering for the organization, because you share the vision and the mission and the goals of that organization. So naturally you would meet like-minded people, you'll make some friends, and chances are you will meet a love partner through that as well, who has the same common principles as you do, or shares a similar passion as you do. So the Ace of Wands is doing something not only new, but doing it differently than you've done it in the past. How can, I was almost going to say Scorpio, how can Leo, maybe some of you have high Scorpio placements, how can Leo overcome their fears with this over the course of the next month? How can they do that? One more shuffle here. Thank you. How can you overcome these fears? Queen of Cups. Now we have another Queen on the table. 10 of Wands. 8 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Strength card. There you are. So for a lot of you, this is a self-confidence issue, or at least will be a self-confidence issue at the time this decision or this idea crosses your path. And the self-confidence issue comes, the last time I invested Pentacle resource, time, love, money, etc., in learning something new, I failed the class. Or I learned it, but it really didn't serve my life any, right? I have a degree in ABC, but I'm currently in this, career field, and one has absolutely nothing to do with the other, so it does not financially benefit me. And so it's like, I don't want to make that mistake again. Or again, the last time I did modify my business, things went wonky. Or the last time I had a business, maybe it crashed and burned. And now I'm a little reluctant to fully invest myself in this. So there's a curiosity here within the Leo collective to learn something new, or to do something differently, or like I said, to be vulnerable and get out there and meet someone. But you're lacking self-confidence based upon past failures. I think what you need to see, or what you should focus on, are your past successes. Because there were times that you did something new and you learned something new, and it did benefit you. You did put your heart on the line, and you did meet someone. And even if that relationship ended up, not going where you thought it would go, you learned a lot, you grew a lot. And that in itself is a success. And the fact that you were strong and brave enough and courageous enough to open yourself up to meet another person is success just in and of itself, even if the relationship itself didn't go anywhere. So you do have successes and triumphs. And that's really what you need to focus on. Because if you focus too much on the past failures, then yes, you will be scared to go back to school. You'll be scared about learning something new. You'll be scared about opening your business. You'll be scared about revamping the current business model. You'll be scared about getting out there into the world and meeting a love partner. So really the only thing holding you back is fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, or fear of repeating a past mistake. So how can Leo overcome that fear? Now that we know what that fear is, how can Leo overcome that fear? What's behind the end of a tough cycle approaches? Expect powerful change. If you were to make this decision, your life would change, financially speaking, for the better. You'll end up on a path where you will become more financially grounded and stable than you ever have been before. But like I said, it will require you to learn something new or to do something differently. And even in respect to love, if you're entering the dating scene, there's a need here for you to do it differently than you did it in the past. And then, yes, you do have a life, I'll call it a life partner here. So this requires you to learn something new or to do something differently. How can Leo build up their self-confidence here? One more shuffle here. Thank you. How can you build your self-confidence? 5 of Swords, Ace of Cups, self-love, King of Cups, bottom of deck, the Star. Making time and space for you. Real acts of self-love. I'll put a pinned comment under this video. Real acts of self-love. Because again, the Queen of Cups has that lid on that chalice based upon the past experiences of her suits of cards. And based upon her past experiences, she doesn't want to feel the 4 of Cups again. She doesn't want to feel the 5 of Cups again. She doesn't want to feel the 7 of Cups again. And she certainly doesn't want to feel the 8 of Cups again. But if you can work on that self-confidence issue, which begins with you really creating space and time in your life to nurture yourself, then you do end up coming through that as the King of Cups. And now the King of Cups is able to take action. All the kings take action. The queens are reflective in nature, and that's how they exist in the present. And the kings take action. And this would be you elevating from queen status. I've got the chalice on I got the lid on that chalice to the king, who has no lid on his chalice. His heart is wide open. So he's fully emotionally invested in that Ace of Wands. He loves learning something new. He loves the idea of opening up his own business. He loves the idea of going back to school. He loves the idea of getting out there into the world and meeting people and finding his partner. I just say he, there's a man on the card, but that's the energy of the King of Cups. I'm going to love that Ace of Wands. And the only reason why that king is capable of loving the Ace of Wands is because at some point in time, the Queen of Cups has to love the Ace of Cups. Self-love. If you can heal that wound with the Star card, what you want comes in. 9 of Cups, you can't make it up. Tower. Expect powerful change. And this is Scorpionic energy. If you can work through those fears, then expect powerful change. So yeah, it will require you to do something new or learn something new or do something differently. But it's well worth the payoff to do it. 2 of Swords, you have a decision here to make, Leo. Let's get you some advice here. So again, whatever that Ace of Wands is for you, it will change your life. And for the better. Can we get advice here for Leo on this? Bottom of the deck, Ace of Swords. That breakthrough moment. When you have this idea, or you're seeing it on TV, like I said, or it's coming up in conversation, or you feel called within to do it, learn it, go back to it, do it differently, don't ignore that breakthrough moment. Because that's your moment of truth. That's your moment of clarity. Queen of Swords and King of Swords. I just saw Emperor at the bottom of the deck. The only thing we're missing here is the King of Pentacles, which would be the investment king. So we have, you will see it clearly that you should do this. You will feel inspired to take the action. And provided you can work on the self wound, this self-worth wound that you have, self-confidence wound, then you will love and you will be excited to do this. But then you'll need to invest the pentacle resource. You'll need to commit the time to do this, the time to learn this, the time to get out there and meet someone, the time to create a plan to restructure your business or to launch one, the time to tackle that DIY project and learn everything you have to learn in order to be successful at it. Can we get advice here, please? The Hierophant, learning. Either learning something new or learning how to do something differently. The Three of Swords. And now we have the King of Pentacles. Four of Wands. That is the best reading. We're ending your reading with the first card that came out from the other deck. So if you can work on that self-confidence wound, because that's what that is, if you can truly heal that and then make the decision, Taurus energy in that Hierophant, I am going to learn this or do this differently, then you're ready to invest. And then you have the Four Kings, which means that you now step into the role of the Emperor. And the Emperor protects their empire. And they make decisions and move forward from a very emotionally balanced place and from a very calculated place, because at the end of the day, they want success with the plan. This would completely change your life here. Four of Wands, Five of Swords, Eight of Swords. I can't tell you how much I love this. Cutting through the doubts, the fears, and the insecurities. It's almost like you need to battle yourself right now, Leo. This is not a competition between you and anyone else. Your future self is basically asking you to go to war with who you are today and to change your mindset. Because if you can learn this new thing or do this differently this time around, you have no idea how beneficial this will be to your future. Your future self is asking you to do this, asking you to learn this or expand your knowledge on it or launch it or do it differently or be bold and brave enough, even if this is dating, to do it differently than you did it in the past. Anything else Leo needs to know about this? The Magician. And then you're fully capable because the Magician has all four aces. And that's what you have here on the table. The King of Swords has the Ace of Swords. The King of Wands has the Ace of Wands. The King of Cups has the Ace of Cups. And the King of Pentacles has the Ace of Pentacles. So if you can just heal this self-worth, self-value wound within you, whether you realize it exists or not, then you become the creator of your destiny. And you're able to create or bring in what it is that you want. And the King of Pentacles is the third deacon of Leo. It's the second deacon of Virgo, which is creating that structure or plan. Final messages here. I just received a notification. One of the apps on my phone has an update. And it says, I can accept this update. I can accept it. Or I can block it. I feel like that's a message here for you. You can accept this. Or you can block it. You don't have to take the exit, and you can stay on the path you're on. Be mindful that staying on the path you're on does not take you to that Ten of Pentacles, which is what you're desiring, long-term financial or emotional abundance, and for some of you, both. I wouldn't block this exit ramp. This is an exit ramp I would take. Even if that bend looks a little wonky and you can't really see what's beyond it, I would trust that it's taking you to the Ten of Pentacles. And the only way you're going to be able to trust the path is if you trust yourself. Final messages here for Leo, please. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Final messages. Knight of Wands. Second card that came out before, right? Taking the inspired action. Page of Wands to learn more. Seven of Wands and do it. Have the perseverance. Have the perseverance. Believe that you're up for this challenge. That you can explore whatever this is, that you can learn something new. Be a little free-spirited about this. Take action on it. This is a path of adventure. Get enthusiastic about it. Your wishes will be fulfilled. Nine of Cups to the Three of Cups. Celebration, happiness, comfort, as well as satisfaction. And it's not some wish or dream or goal that you had to wait for someone to bring to you. That's the most exciting part of all of it. It's one that you're creating for yourself. That's what I have for you, Leo. That is your full moon in Gemini message. If you like that message, resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. Hype the video if you can. I want to thank you again very much for being a member of the Time Traveler subscription-based membership program that I have now. I saw a comment or two about the cost of the plan. And I know the times that we're in, but I also want to explain to you the reason why I came up with that $24.99 price is that I was very cognizant of the fact that YouTube would take $10.49 of it, and I would be left with $14.49 thereabouts. And then after the state and federal taxes come out of that, I'm left with just less than $10. And I thought, wow, to put out 48 videos a month and make less than $10, I don't know if I'm going to get one subscriber, 100, 1,000. I have no idea. And so I did not create that price point like out of greed. It's really out of necessity to be able to like keep my lights on and heat my home in the winter and put some food on the table. If at some point in the future, and I think I said this in the Cancer reading, I end up getting a lot of subscribers, then I, of course, will lower that price or create different tiers or something like that. But right now, to provide 48 additional readings for $9 a month for me, like as my take home, I thought that that was more than fair. And I hope that in the weeks and months to come that you see value in paying that $24.99 price as well. Also, Leo, keep in mind, if you used an Apple device, you may have been charged an extra fee. That fee did not come to me or Apple, or did not come to me or YouTube. That's an Apple payment processing fee. I think they add anywhere from $3 to $5. So if you went to join and it said $29.99, you could avoid that in the future. You could cancel the membership and then re-sign up using a non-Apple device or using a web browser. And in that respect, the price would be $24.99. So you could do that, cancel, and re-up in January if you wanted to save that $5 a month. And $5 is no joke, right? It's $60 at the end of the year. So take that into consideration if you were hit with that additional Apple fee. But that is what I have for you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.